Live from CoinGeek Week, day 2.
Yeah.
What do you guys think so far?
Oh, it's been great. The atmosphere, the how passionate everybody is about the true vision of what Bitcoin should be, and how the great applications and everything that's going on. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's very exciting. We are going to understand the future this week, because you are going to understand the next products, the next technology, and I think it's starting to make sense right now, Bitcoin.
So why do you guys call Bitcoin the new money?
Because it's a branding wise, okay. Talking about branding, it's a very simple concept, but it's very powerful, because you don't want Bitcoin to become just another. You don't want Bitcoin to be competing with PayPal and MasterCard and Visa as a payment system, as a payment option. So you just don't want to be one of the third ticks in the boxes of what you have to choose, because then you are behind Skrill, you are behind most of these other payment systems that are not very popular but are still bigger than and easier to use than Bitcoin at the time. So what you need is to redefine what money is and how it works, because you can do microtransactions with Bitcoin, and you can embed data, and you can embed it in almost any API call or anything that you do with your app, and you can just make payments in the background and lots of stuff that you cannot do with Visa and MasterCard. So why trying to compete with them when they already have that advantage in that vertical, when you can create a new vertical and you can be the leader of that category? So that's our focus with. And money is, the new money is also very powerful, because the concept of new and against old is very, it's a dichotomy, and everybody understands that concept, and we never had a new money. So money has always been just money. Now we can talk about the old money and the new money, and that starts a very interesting conversation, a very meaningful conversation. I think it's a very powerful branding statement.
One thing I really liked in our conversation a couple months ago was you were big about business adoption, kind of swaying from what Bitcoin is now, just kind of speculation market moving towards business. Yesterday, you talked a little bit about Handcash for business. I thought that was actually very interesting, because I think that's what we need to take the next step towards adoption for global, the new money, as you like to say. Could you maybe elaborate on the Handcash for business, what sort of things we can expect, and how you see that evolving?
Well, the idea came because we've always been asked about having multiple accounts in Handcash. And when we asked why, most people said, well, it's for my ONG, or it's for my business, or it's for managing, my few of my businesses. I want to have many, or maybe they just want to have one account per POP system that they have. So we just saw that it made sense that if everybody that wants the second account, it was just for business purposes, not to overcomplicate Handcash for the users, and just make another app, just like we did with POP. And there are some features like, the on and off fiat ramps that we could start putting there. And maybe in Handcash, the wallet, we might just put the option to buy from there, not sell. Because, we think you shouldn't go back to the old money. Why? But we think it's very important for businesses right now to comply with the regulations, with the taxes, and we just want to make a product that is tailored to their needs.
So every conversation I've had this week has got me more and more excited for the future. We've kind of been hinting at some of the stuff that people have been hinting at, the stuff that's coming. One of the things that didn't get a lot of attention was Cashport. Like, still to this day, I don't think people fully understand just how I think revolutionary Cashport will be to a lot of applications that probably haven't even been imagined yet. Some that I've thought personally about 20 that if I had time would try to build. With respect to Cashport, where do you see what are you most excited about moving forward? Like, I think the Keyport, obviously, we were very big supporters of what Keyport did, and they kind of were the first application that we've seen build it. I'd like to see every wallet integrated. It's just not gotten as much attention as I want it to, so I'm going to keep talking about it. But can you talk about what Cashport is and why everyone should adopt it and put it in their wallets?
I think one of the main features that we see for the new money is micropayments. And this is exactly what we want with Cashport. So it's a very fast way to integrate micropayments in your business. And you don't have to understand anything about Bitcoin. So this is when we see the value here with Cashport.
Yeah.
And we also have this identity to provide this is one-click onboarding experience. So I think we are trying to, give the tools to the businesses to integrate Bitcoin, and this is how we think that adoption can happen.
I think what's so exciting is that what you guys have created, with the handle system, you created a digital identity wallet, right? So for the first time, it's amazing. We were talking about it today. I'm actually amazed it took 10 years to have someone build something where it's as easy as sending to a username, for example, right?
But I think that has not happened because everyone was so focused on every part of Bitcoin being super decentralized that, for example, you saw right now the example of Jason with the handle that he's created on Memo.
Yep.
He has had to invent this way of social trust score or something to know that the same handle that maybe it's repeated or something. So we were trying to make it decentralized, but we saw that there are many things to overcome that way. I'm sure that in a few months or a few years or something, someone will come up with the idea to solve all of these issues. But right now we thought that either we provide value now and test if people really are going to use this, or why do we have to invest months and months and months on doing a system that maybe nobody's going to use? So we first wanted to create the handle system in a way that it works just like if it were on the blockchain and it were decentralized. We are not touching it. We are not doing anything. We are not intervening in any way, and just test if this is something valuable for businesses and if it's a UI that can make interactions between machine to machine or even from business to customer or whatever, if it can make the life easier of everyone. And so far we've seen that it's been our biggest selling point, even though people were kind of amazed by the NFC transactions and all that stuff in Handcash, but many people say, well, the real value in Handcash is the handles, because I think it was something that it's very valuable. You don't have to copy and paste an address and send it through email to get it. So, and you don't, and I think with Cashport is pretty much the same thing, but it's even better because we are talking right now that you can connect third-party services and wallets and any kind of stuff, and they can just automatically approve payments for you with certain limits that you have to define previously. And we think that this is very powerful, and we are keeping it very low profile right now. That's just because we still want to develop, for example, the iOS version is still not ready for Cashport, and we want to develop the C# libraries and other things for Unity, for Windows. And we are also right now working with a few projects at the time, so that allows us to really understand what people need from Cashport. So once we feel comfortable about the current version of Cashport that we have, then we will start promoting it more. But at the time, we are keeping it, very talking with a dozen projects that are currently doing some kind of stuff like, public Wi-Fi that you can just click and you don't have to register or something. With one click, you connect to your Handcash wallet and you pay for the second or something like that. And so what we want to see is now that we have this technology, what are people going to create with this? And I know one of the drawbacks right now is that people say, oh, but you have to download Handcash first to use Cashport or whatever. And we understand that the limitation, but what we want to do right now is create a vertical ecosystem when we can kind of like Apple or Tesla, that it's a very closed ecosystem, but you can be in full control of all the UI and UX elements of all the ecosystem, because what we want is to demonstrate value fast and get feedback fast. And once we feel comfortable with this, we can make Sendby and other apps, or maybe a cloud service or banks or whatever connect to integrate with Cashport. We want this to be a widespread protocol, because for standards to really have meaning, they have to be dominant, widespread.
Enjoyed your passionate response yesterday about the handles. That was great. So I hope people see that when the video goes up. But I think what's very nice about what you're doing is that you're creating a truly, we use the word frictionless a lot, but if you can have this digital identity where money can flow in and out of my wallet. And we've personally seen when people go on Keyport, and literally I'll just get little notifications of cents coming in my wallet all day. And, I'll watch a video and 10 cents will flow out, and just to see
the endorphin effect.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And it reminds me, you talk all the time about the Oasis, right? With from Ready Player One. It feels like we are entering that age where actually everyone has used the word frictionless a lot, but it hasn't really felt that way until I've started to use some of these systems where something is just sitting in my pocket and money is freely flowing in and out of me.
It's great. And also, one thing I want to add with this is that once everything about Bitcoin kind of feels like it's all about micropayments and in and out, you don't worry about fluctuations anymore.
Yeah.
Because it's like 5 cents, 2 cents, 1 cent, 3 cents. You don't ever have a stable balance that you are watching over and over and see it fluctuate up and down in fiat value. It's just like you are constantly spending, earning, and I think that's the great thing about this.
So exciting.
Just another question about another term that's been flying around is KYC policies, and how that can either be an obstacle in Bitcoin, but also I think some see it as Bitcoin as a solution to the KYC problem. Could you maybe elaborate on your opinions of KYC and how you guys are working through that with Handcash?
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, we're thinking with the marked identity for Cashport, provide this pre-validated data for the other businesses, so they don't have to make the validation again. And we think that this is something that it's totally valuable for them. But we also want to keep this privacy, and we don't want to have the users' data, so they always are in control, and they can choose if they want to share this data with this business or not.
Yeah.
We just want to make it fast, so you don't have to make the same process again and again. This is the only thing that we want to.
We are all about privacy and about keeping your data always. You're in full control of your money and full control of your data. That's one of the top values of our. Yes, we never will cross that line, and also it's better for us because then we don't have to comply to many regulations that apply, because we don't have any data from users, or we don't have funds from users. We are not custodial, and we don't expect to be. Maybe for Handcash for business, we will offer some custodial services that but anyway,
sure.
There's a need for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what we want is that you are in Handcash, in the personal information screen that you have. We want that information to always be inside your wallet, and if you ever change your name or your email or whatever field, all the services that are linked to your wallet automatically update. So if you change your if you change, if you move to another country or something like that, and you order from Amazon, it shouldn't be an issue to have to fill in forms again and change everything again for website by website. So I think your identity should be always in your control, and Cashport allows not just the moving of funds instantly in the background, but also allows you for having a total control of your private information. And for some, I mean, we live in the real world, and there are some services that if you want to use, they will require certain data. We want to make it very easy to comply with KYC and all that stuff from Handcash, and then offer that service to every other third-party services that you connect with, but it's totally optional. And I mean, it's always up to you if you then just want to change your name or whatever, and you have to register again for the KYC, and you don't want to. And I mean, there you may have some limitations by connecting to some services, but you know, it's what it is. I mean,
Yeah. Well, that's I mean, you're really speaking about the future of just frictionless identity and payments linked, which is just very exciting. But maybe we can just start to wrap this up with, you know, when we went up with you guys the very first night we were here, and it seems like the common theme from the first conversations we had then and everyone since this entire week has just been that we all seem to share this common value that Bitcoin is good for what we want to do, and leave Bitcoin alone. We just want Bitcoin to build. So the question we keep asking everybody is why Bitcoin, parentheses, SV?
first your take. There are many reasons.
We've had a very passionate responses to this one, but I think it's very important for everyone to understand that everyone thinks that this is another split fork. It's just Bitcoin.
From my take on this is that we are very pragmatic, because we don't want to make our decisions for business based on faith or on what we see on social media. So when we started with the idea of Handcash, we weren't necessarily thinking on one particular coin or technology, but we just started looking at Bitcoin, Lightning, Litecoin, even Nano, and even many networks. But in the end, what we wanted, we are choosing SV for the same reason that we chose Bitcoin Cash in the first place. Thing is that recently you've been seeing that they have been very arbitrary in their changes, and releasing, rushing to new updates that are not tested, and you see that how everything is working just kind of behind the scenes with deals with exchanges to retain the brand, and you see that in the end it has become, the ABC side has become more like an oligarchy or something. I don't doubt that they are right in some aspects, that they claim that you need to make block propagation better, and you need to, we agree, we all agree. We've never had that debate, or and when they say, oh, but you cannot have sustained 32 megabyte blocks, and we've never said that we want to sustain full 30 megabyte blocks. What we want is to people to be using the 2 or 10% of the block space regularly, and then you for Black Fridays and for all that stuff, you should be able to have enough room, so when there's a spike in usage or something like that, the network doesn't collapse and the mempool clears fast, and that's what we need. I don't want 100 to 128 megabyte blocks constantly filled. But the argument for us, the choice, it was more, this time it was more of a business decision than a technological decision, because we don't doubt that they are in ABC, they are very skilled people, and we don't doubt. In fact, we know Josh Ellithorpe, Chris Pacia, we really respect them. Very, very, very intelligent guys. But the thing is that we feel very confident about being on a stable platform, that we don't have to have all this drama all over again. And if this puts an end to all these scaling debates and all this stuff, we need to scale. That's not a debate, and we need to scale as fast as possible. The world is not waiting for Bitcoin to be adopted. We are just there are others that are trying to outcompete what Bitcoin is trying to do. And we had a few years ago, we had the chance to beat Visa and MasterCard, and other people, but we started with the block the block size, and now we can just compete with micropayments. And if we don't get there fast, we will lose this chance, and the Bitcoin will not have any reason to exist. So we need to we're in rush mode. And people, I think, don't realize that we just have like a 2-year window to become something at least meaningful.
Absolutely.
For me, one of the biggest lessons I learned as a professional, it's very simple. It's focus.
Yeah.
Focus. And we are not many developers inside the ecosystem right now. In fact, I think that we should bring new talent to the ecosystem. This is the first thing. And the second thing is, we don't need to fix Bitcoin, because Bitcoin works and it's fine.
Absolutely.
And we have a very great team working on that. And we personally know them. And they have a roadmap, and they have all in control. So we don't need to lose more time discussing about changing the protocol, and we can focus in build things in top of Bitcoin. This is how we think the adoption can happen.
We have to start providing real value to the world, and not just real value to our egos as developers. I mean, nobody cares if I did. I implemented the cash tracing. Who cares? I mean, are you bringing value to the world? I know that has value, that that you need it, but Bitcoin is not about making the best protocol ever. Bitcoin is about providing value with that protocol. It's not that you're not doing this for the protocol itself. You're doing this for the value that you can provide with the protocol. So, and I think with the value with the protocol as is right now, you can provide thousands of millions of times more value than you are providing right now. So if then we have to change some stuff, we'll see. But right now we don't need to change anything.
Well, thank you guys for being committed to adding value on top of Bitcoin, because you guys have undeniably done that already, and we're excited to see what comes next. So.
And iOS is coming too, right? So.
Yeah, early December. Oh, we had should we explain a little bit now?
Yes,
no, shit happens. Shit happens. No, we started with one. We tried to hire a crew for the long term, working on iOS part, but we couldn't find in time, and things were getting late, and we hired a contractor that didn't work well at all with him. We kind of lost 2 months with that. Then we hired a team of guys that are very, very brilliant, and the app is fantastic. It's awesome. The Genome guys. Okay.
Wow,
so
awesome.
they say it publicly. So anyway,
great.
So we are very proud of their work and all the stuff. The thing is that then we had to get ready for the fork. We tried to implement the unified coin stuff from Ryan, and to attend everyone because we were getting hundreds of emails of worried people on what's going to happen with my coins and my money and whatever and all that stuff. And then preparing for the conference and attending to business calls, and we are still setting up our business in Spain, and we have a lot of paperwork to do and a lot of things going on with the banks, and so it just shit happens. I wish we could have released the iOS version much earlier, but it just shit happens. But we are now is finished, and we are testing it with SP. And the thing is, also, we didn't want to be worrying about two versions of. We didn't want to worry about two versions of Handcash at the same time during the fork, because it would be tough enough just to focus on one. And because it's not a hybrid app, so we're building it everything native using Swift, and the app feels so smooth and so quick and so fast, and it's very beautiful. And I don't know, it's my favorite version of Handcash. Really, really.
Can't wait.
It'll be worth the wait.
Very good.
Awesome.
Very good. Thank you guys.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
the rest of the conference.
Thanks.